Lads, we live in a world where men are praised for being low test, pussified, powerless, hyper emotional sacks of shit. And women are praised for trying to be alpha males because there's no such thing as an alpha female, right? It's like, it doesn't happen. But we live in a backwards reality. A really, really, really backwards reality. Where the hell did things go wrong? Right? When did we decide that, oh no, boys have to cry, and if you don't, then there's something wrong with you, and you should be hyper emotional because weakness and vulnerability is just the strongest thing that you can possibly do? When did that low test cuck seep into Western society? Okay, it's everywhere, guys. It's in politics. This hyper emotionalism. I feel threatened. I don't feel good. Right? I don't feel like I'm in the right body. I feel like racism is just magically out there. I feel that you're being sexist. I feel, guys, when did this happen? When the hell did we decide to put so much stock into this concept? Well, I'll tell you guys why this happened. This is happening more and more and more as a direct consequence, as the feminization of men. Why? Well, the last generation of boys, most of them were raised by single mothers. And that's happening more and more and more and more. They don't have strong masculine role models. Their mothers, who often have resentment towards their fathers for not being there, I'm not saying that that's unfair, but who have the resentment, raise them with this new age idea of, oh, we've got to raise boys like girls. Your boy should be allowed to cry. Let's get rid of competition. Stop counting at sports games. Start handing out participation trophies. Turn boys into girls. Get rid of what makes them men. Because, guys, we don't live in a generation of men anymore. We live in a world of grown-up boys. We live in a world of adult little shits who never grew up to become men. Look at the modern day, feminist movement, for example. If a man says that he is a feminist, because, guys, feminist doesn't mean gender equality. We all know that. Being a feminist doesn't mean you're for gender equality. Being a feminist now means women need to be bad bitches, and men who are toxic, and anything masculine needs to be disrupted because all there is power. Guys, do you know what? This new movement about, oh no, the power's with all the men. If you're a man, you should be powerful. That's what we do in this channel, because the most competent, the best men, guys, the high test men are powerful. That's good. But we've decided that guys need to become we've decided that men need to become women. Because we all know women are more neurotic and more emotional than men are. That's not a secret. That's not sexist to say. That's just a fact. But we've decided that that's a problem. We've decided that that's now no longer okay. Guys, men shouldn't cry. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. How can you say that? Let me explain it to you. It's actually quite easy. Your job as a man is and always will be, if you have the balls for it, to protect and provide. That's your job. You're expendable. Your job is performance-based. You cannot perform your purpose and function if you are constantly in an emotional state because of the rest of your life. You cannot do your duty to your family and support your wife and children if you are constantly crying and sulking about your own shit. You cannot perform and improve if you are constantly crying. Guys, every man has a little jar inside of him. Every man has that. And throughout history, we've learned to open that jar and stuff all the shit inside of it and then close it up. And every man has to practice this. This is a skill that you learn. Because you can't, like they want, just let the emotion out. Because when men just let it rip, bad, dangerous things happen. So you have to practice opening and closing and opening and closing. And the best men are very capable of taking shit, opening the cup, sticking it in and closing it off. Because you have to. Because when you're a man, other things are more important than you and your emotion. Guys, we live in a narcissistic society where everything is all about you. Guess what? If you're a man, it's not about you. And so you put these things to the side so you can do better. You have to. And you know what, guys? It's also useful. It's also useful to be able to stick, because sometimes, guys, you really, really need to let it rip. And then you have what I like to call the reserve tank. Guys, this is why it's so important to learn to fight, to get in shape. When you learn to fight, you know, if you box, for example, if you box angry, you lose. You can't box angry and expect to win. But when you throw a punch, for that split second, you uncork that bottle. But then you immediately close it up again. Because you can't let all of that emotion out, otherwise you lose. Life works the same way, guys. You can't just go throwing your emotions away at people like they want you to nowadays. And you know why they want you to? Because it makes you weak. It makes you incapable. It makes you self-obsessed and useless. You can't just walk around with your bottle uncorked. You need to know when to screw it on and know when to open it up. So no, guys, men shouldn't cry. That doesn't mean that you should never be sad. That doesn't mean that there's never a time to be emotional. But what it means is, in a world where emotion has become everything, you need to understand that developing your capacity to screw and unscrew that bottle and know when the rare occasion is that it's time to open it up, that you can. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll check you guys next time.